polls. This and lots more to keep you glued for the next 1 hour. Up next, we get to you the big news we're tracking. Bharatiya Janata Party releases list of 125 candidates for Maharashtra Assembly polls, while Shiv Sena announces 124 seats for state assembly polls. Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis to contest from Nagpur Southwest seat. Cabinet Secretary chairs meeting of the National Crisis Management Committee to assess flood situation in Bihar. The rescue work in full swing as 20 NDRF units deployed across the state, including 6 units in Patna, heavy-duty pumps reaching Patna to clear flood water. Flood fury in several parts of Bihar and Uttar Pradesh due to heavy rains. Death toll in Bihar climbs to 29, with Patna, Nalanda, Vaishali, Bhagalpur and Punya worst affected. Rescue and relief operations in full swing. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar reiterates India's stand on Kashmir, says no mediation needed as it is a bilateral issue. Supreme Court partly allowed the review petition filed by the centre against the Apex Court's judgment of diluting various stringent provisions of the SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act. Also, Supreme Court grants centre 4 weeks of time to file its reply on the various petitions challenging abrogation of Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir, fixes the matter for further hearing on November 14th. Wicket-keeper batsman Ridhiman Saha included in playing 11 for India for the first test against South Africa beginning tomorrow at Visakhapatnam. Rap on knuckles comes for Rishabh Pant after the left-hander excluded from the team. Alright, those were the top stories. Up next, we'll get to the big story we are tracking. The BJP has announced the names of 125 candidates for the upcoming Maharashtra Assembly polls and said that it will contest the election in an alliance with Shiv Sena and some smaller parties. Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis will contest the polls from Nagpur Southwest seat, and Maharashtra Unit Chief of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Chandrakant Patel, from Kothurud, according to the list released by the party's General Secretary, Arun Singh. Addressing a press conference, Singh said that the party had not given tickets to 12 of its MLAs.
मैं भारतीय जनता पार्टी के प्रत्याशी का नाम अभी आपके समक्ष यह रिलीज कर रहे हैं। महाराष्ट्र के यशस्वी मुख्यमंत्री श्री देवेंद्र फडणवीस जी नागपुर दक्षिण पश्चिम से विधानसभा का चुनाव लड़ेंगे। भारतीय जनता पार्टी के प्रदेश अध्यक्ष महाराष्ट्र सरकार में मंत्री चंद्रकांत दादा पाटिल कोथरूड विधानसभा से चुनाव लड़ेंगे। श्रीमती मुक्ता तिलक जो लोकमान्य गंगाधर तिलक के घराने की बहू हैं, वह कस्बा पेट विधानसभा से भारतीय जनता पार्टी के प्रत्याशी होंगी। जो सतारा लोकसभा है उसका भी बाई इलेक्शन हो रहा है। उस सतारा लोकसभा से छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज के वंशज श्री उदयन राजे भोसले जी को भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने अपना प्रत्याशी घोषित किया है।
Meanwhile, Shiv Sena has disclosed seat sharing. The party will contest on 124 seats. Sena has also named 70 candidates. Our correspondent Shailendra Mishra is joining us from Delhi to get us more on that, and Shama Mishra is joining us from Mumbai. Shailendra, first we'll come to you. BJP has announced a list of 125 candidates. When we talk of the upcoming Maharashtra polls, let us know the details.
देखिए, अब इस तरह से कह सकते हैं कि महाराष्ट्र में विधानसभा चुनाव को लेकर जो बीजेपी, शिवसेना और कुछ अन्य दलों का गठबंधन है, उसको लेकर जो स्थिति है वो पूरी तरह से साफ हो चुकी है। बीजेपी ने अपनी पहली सूची 125 उम्मीदवारों की जारी की है, जिसमें 52 निवर्तमान जो विधायक हैं 52 उनको दोबारा चुनाव मैदान में उतारा है और इसके साथ ही साथ कई नए चेहरे हैं, कई महिला उम्मीदवारों को टिकट दिया गया है। हम जानते हैं कि नागपुर के दक्षिण पश्चिम से देवेंद्र फडणवीस चुनाव मैदान में होंगे और महाराष्ट्र के बीजेपी प्रदेश अध्यक्ष को भी चुनाव मैदान में उतारा गया है। कई और प्रमुख चेहरे हैं, पंकजा मुंडे का नाम है, इसके साथ ही साथ कई उम्मीदवार हैं। सतारा जो लोकसभा सीट है उस पर जानते हैं कि कुछ दिन पहले ही अभी एनसीपी छोड़कर और सांसद से त्यागपत्र देकर उदयन राजे भोसले बीजेपी में शामिल हुए थे, उन्हें चुनाव मैदान में उतारा गया। तो स्थिति सीट बंटवारे को लेकर भी अब तकरीबन साफ है। 124 सीटों पर शिवसेना अपने उम्मीदवारों के नाम का ऐलान कर चुकी है, 125 पर बीजेपी ने अपने उम्मीदवारों के नाम का ऐलान किया और बाकी जो बची सीटें हैं 288 में से विधानसभा की, वो माना जा रहा है कि उन सीटों में से कुछ सीटें, तकरीबन 18 सीटें, उस पर बीजेपी अपने कोटे से सहयोगियों को विधानसभा सीटें देगी। तो ऐसे में अब बाकी बची सीटों पर उम्मीदवारों के नाम का ऐलान जल्दी कर दिया जाएगा। बीजेपी तकरीबन 143 जो विधानसभा सीटें हैं उस पर चुनाव लड़ने जा रही है, जो सूत्र बता रहे हैं। तो ऐसे में अब दूसरी सूची का इंतजार है और स्थिति बीजेपी और शिवसेना गठबंधन की तरफ से, चाहे वो सीट बंटवारे को लेकर हो या उम्मीदवारों के नाम का लेकर जो एक तमाम अटकलें लगाई जा रही थी, वो बिल्कुल साफ हो गया है। और अब ये कह सकते हैं कि बीजेपी और शिवसेना की तरफ से गठबंधन में जो चुनाव प्रचार में ज़्यादा फोकस होगा और जो जनसभाएं होनी हैं उन पर ज़्यादा फोकस होगा। जो तकरीबन उम्मीदवारों के नाम का ऐलान हो गया और जल्द ही दूसरी सूची भी बीजेपी की तरफ से आ जाएगी। जी,
all right, the second list is also expected soon. At this point, I'll bring in Shama Mishra from Mumbai. Shama, our correspondent Shailendra Mishra was talking about the details of the list which has been announced by the BJP. You there in Mumbai, let us know more about how Shiv Sena has announced the names of the seats.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes, Shama, let us know the details. We've told our viewers that Shiv Sena has also announced the names of the seats from where it will contest. Let us know more details.
Yes, we late evening yesterday we were awaiting the announcement from Chandrakant Patil, and we were hoping that the alliance, the grand alliance of BJP, Shiv Sena and others, that should continue, and the same thing happened. The announcement came in that both the parties would be going in the elections together. Today, in the afternoon, we saw a list of 125 candidates from the BJP side and a list of 124 names, constituencies names from the Shiv Sena's end. Now, just a while back, we got 70 names from the Shiv Sena's end, which also now says that more names of the Shiv Sena are awaited, and the rest seats that are remaining, which have not been announced yet, those names would be announced. Of that, the sources are telling us that 18 seats are reserved for the other parties, other alliance members, which would be, in the Grand Alliance, and also the remaining seats of the 18 would be going to BJP. So the second list of BJP is awaited. Also, we are now seeing that lots of places that the usual places which BJP used to hold, they have given it to Shiv Sena, and Shiv Sena, which we used to say the stronghold of Shiv Sena, that has gone to BJP. And we are also seeing that, yesterday, since the day, we can say, the election announcement has happened, a lot of action has happened. Yesterday, we saw that Aditya Thackeray of Uddhav Thackeray's Shiv Sena chief, Uddhav Thackeray's son, he announced, now this Uddhav Thackeray's son, Aditya Thackeray, would be contesting from Worli's side, which used to be the stronghold of Shiv Sena, but which used to be the stronghold of NCP. But now we are seeing that Sachin Ahir, who was there in NCP earlier, he has left the space and come to Shiv Sena. And now lots and ups and downs have happened. Also for the fact that the Shiv Sena, the family member of Shiv Sena, this is for the first time that someone is going to contest elections. So yes, this will be an interesting fact to see how much votes can he garner. And like we also saw in the BJP list and Shiv Sena list, lots of women candidates' names have been included, and also the areas which were the stronghold of which we saw that the mega bharti, which we were talking about, that many people from many leaders, many political leaders from other parties have come into BJP. They have also gotten a stronghold, like we were talking about Udin Raje Bhosle. So he has gotten in the by-elections, he is standing from Satara. Also Radhakrishna Vikhe Patil, just 3-4 months back, Radhakrishna Vikhe Patil, he came into BJP. He has gotten place from Shirdi. His son, and an interesting fact again here, his son, Sujay Vikhe Patil, in the last elections of the Lok Sabha elections, we saw that he had come to BJP, and from there he won the seat for the MP election and MP seat. So yes, now the father is contesting for MLA seat, and the son is now the MP of that particular area. Lot of people who have, we've said earlier as well, a lot of people who have come into BJP are getting a strong position now. Kalidas Puramkar, who was there standing from Wadala area,
Right.
he's again getting a seat from BJP area to stand from the Wadala area, and it will be an interesting fight to see those people who have jumped parties and come into BJP, how they fare and how the entire we can say performance happens.
All right, so all options there being explored. Let's see how these permutations and combinations work. Thank you so much, Hama and Shailendra, for joining us with those details. Let's get to other news, other updates now. The centre has dispatched 20 teams of the NDRF and pressed into service Indian Air Force helicopters to help the flood victims in Bihar. The National Crisis Management Committee, that is the NCMC, headed by Cabinet Secretary Rajiv Gauba, on Tuesday reviewed the flood situation in Bihar, where 16 districts have been affected by the deluge. 20 teams of the National Disaster Response Force, comprising of about 900 rescue persons, have been deployed in the state. 6 of the teams were deployed in capital Patna, which has witnessed very heavy rainfall and waterlogging over the past 3 days. Two helicopters of the Indian Air Force were also deployed in rescue and relief operations. Bihar government has informed the NCMC that due to extremely heavy rainfall in the state, along with high levels of water in the rivers, there has been flooding in 16 districts. Extensive evacuation, rescue and relief efforts have been undertaken by the state government machinery, in which all assistance has been rendered by the NDRF and other central agencies. Essential supplies of food and drinking water are being supplied by the state government, and efforts are on for restoration of electricity in the flood-affected areas. The Met Department has stated that while there has been very heavy rainfall in Bihar over the past few days, the situation is improving now. Up next, we'll get to updates on the flood situation in Bihar. But first, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla is addressing the Global Summit Come Expo on Spirituality for Unity, Peace and Prosperity, being organized by Brahma Kumaris at Sirohi in Rajasthan.
आपने बताया सभी को, और आपने काफ़ी रिसर्च भी की है। पता चलता है कि संस्था क्या क्या कार्य कर रही है और कौन से प्रोजेक्ट्स चल रहे हैं। आप भली भांति संस्था से परिचित हैं और इसके साथ जुड़े रह करके आप भी कार्य करना चाहते हैं। भारत सरकार ने भी जो पहल की है, हम भी उसके साथ हैं। संस्था उसमें पूरा योगदान सदा देती ही रहती है। समय की सीमाएं, समय के घोड़े दौड़ रहे हैं। मैं आमंत्रित करती हूं ब्रह्मा कुमार हरीश भाई जी को कि वो वोट ऑफ थैंक्स
Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, they're participating at a spirituality summit in Sirohi in Rajasthan. Going back to our story on the flood situation in Bihar, with river waters gushing out on the roads, fish could be seen swimming on the roads in Patna in Bihar. And from Bihar to Uttar Pradesh, several areas in Uttar Pradesh also have been hit by heavy rains. After some relief from the continuing downpour, rescue, relief and rehabilitation work is underway. The railways is still affected. Many trains on Balia-Chapra route remain suspended or have been diverted because of damaged track between Balia and Bansti stations. These are the visuals we're getting for you to give you an idea of the havoc wreaked by heavy rainfall in Uttar Pradesh. Rescue and relief operations are underway in full swing in the state. All right, those were the visuals showing the havoc wreaked by the floods in Uttar Pradesh. Up next, very quickly we get you what efforts are being put together to face the floods situation in Bihar. And the cabinet secretary had called an NCMC meeting. He chaired the meeting, and Bihar government says 16 districts are affected by floods. Bihar government, NDRF and SDRF have undertaken joint relief and rescue operations in the state. 6 NDRF teams have been deployed in Patna itself. When we talk of more measures, 2 IAF helicopters are deployed for relief and rescue efforts in the state of Bihar, and team from the centre will visit the state again to gauge and to evaluate the damage done by the floods. Top government officials are participating in the meeting through video conferencing. Also, officials from Home and Defence Ministries, Water Commission and Met Department have attended the meeting. The cabinet secretary had called a meeting with the NCMC to evaluate the flood situation and the efforts which are being put together to mitigate the woes and the miseries of the people in the state. Salman Haider is joining us to get us more. Salman, we have given a broad outline of the crisis in the state and also the efforts which have been put forth by the administration along with SDRF and NDRF. Let us know the current situation first.
Operation is going on from last 2 days here. In fact, today if you see the weather is sunny, it have really improved on that part on the weather side, but yet there are so many areas which are heavily waterlogged. Through sump house 24 hours working, water is being pulled off, but you see yet in the areas like Boring Road and Kazipur and Lohanipur, the water is yet till knee. So NDRF is working, SDRF is working, but the water which is waterlogged has to be pulled out by the sump house.
All right, Shweta, the main concern for the authorities right now is to pull out the water, but then with water locked in the streets there, in the houses there, another issue of concern is the outbreak of epidemic. After the flood situation is the fear of the outbreak of epidemic. Let us know, are the hospitals there, the medical facilities there well equipped to get in more people on a regular basis and to treat them?
Yes, Preeti, if you see, as from 2 days there was no rain, but mosquito infestation is very high. From last 2 days, what even we saw personally, mosquito infestation was, you could see mosquito moving around. So there are chances because waterlogging is there, it have become sunny. Now there is chance of epidemic breakdown. But if you see hospitals like NMCH, PMCH, they are well equipped, and even the NDRF and SDRF people, when they are giving the food and packet supply, they have the medical supply in it also. So the basic medication is in the packet provided to the people, as well as hospitals are ready for that.
All right, Shweta, let us know also with your background. I can see that it's a sunny day there. Also, the Met Department has said that the situation would improve in the coming days. Let us know more about that as well.
Yes, actually till 29th heavy rainfall alert was given by the Met Department, but from today onwards the Met Department have informed of having a fair weather. So you see, as sunny weather is today, we hope it continues like this so that further we are not under any pain and strain.
All right, yes, let's hope the improved weather continues and the pain and strain of the people is mitigated. Thank you so much, Shweta, for joining us with those updates from Patna. That was our correspondent, Shweta, telling us more about the current flood situation in the state of Bihar. Earlier, we also let you know about the measures and the efforts which have been put forth by the centre, coupled with efforts of the NDRF and SDRF to mitigate the pain of the people in the state. Up next, we'll get you other national updates which are making headlines at present. The Supreme Court on the SC/ST Act is another important story that is making its way this afternoon. A bench of the Supreme Court has partly allowed Centre's petition seeking review of its March 20, 2018 judgment, which had virtually diluted the provisions of the arrest under SC/ST Act. The court observed that powers under Article 142 of the Constitution could not have been exercised to pass the directions against the statute. Also, a 5-judge constitution bench of the Supreme Court has deferred the hearing on the pleas challenging the legal validity of the centre's move to scrap the special status of Jammu and Kashmir. The case has now been posted for November 14th. The apex court has given 4 weeks to centre and state for filing affidavits. Several pleas have been filed in the top court challenging the centre's August 5th decision, abrogating provisions of Article 370 and bifurcating the state into union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. The UTs will come into being on October 31st.
His spirit, his passionate voice, and his teachings are alive, that he is still very much alive and with us as we honor him on the occasion of the 150th anniversary of his birth.
अभी मैं सोचती हूँ कि मैं कितना जानती थी गांधी जी के बारे में। एक श्रद्धा थी, एक आदर था, पूरे देश का था और मेरा भी था।
सत्य की जो शक्ति है, जो एक पावर है, और गांधी को जब हम सहज होके लेने लगते हैं, जब हम उन्हें एक इंसान की जगह एक विचार के जैसे उनके साथ हम अमूर्त रूप में जुड़ने लगते हैं, तो शायद वो और ज्यादा अच्छी तरह से हमसे अपना परिचय करवा पाते हैं।
मोह माया व्यापे नहीं जेने, दृढ़ वैराग्य जेना मन मारे, राम नाम शू ताली लागी, सकल तीरथ तेना तन मारे, वैष्णव जन तो तेरे।
हर पीढ़ी बापू को अपनी तरह से खोजती है, अपनी तरह से पहचानती है, और जो कुछ उसे चाहिए वो बापू के जीवन से ग्रहण करती है।
Welcome back. You're watching Midday Prime. Up next, we got you details of the Supreme Court's observations and the hearing today. Vikas Sarthi is joining us to get us more on both the issues. Vikas, the Supreme Court today has quashed its own verdict of 2018, wherein the provisions were, the guidelines were framed to prevent the misuse of SC/ST Act. Let us know more. What was there behind the court's observations? Explain the court's observation to us.
Well, Preeti, the 3-judge bench made some very interesting observation when it was hearing this matter. The court said that even if we accept that there was some cases were reported of misuse of this SC/ST Atrocities Act, even then, by and large, that discrimination still exists, and to give relief to the deprived class, some stringent provision must be there. In fact, court said that the 2 judges bench exercised powers under Article 142 and passed certain guidelines which were not needed. The SC/ST Atrocities Act specifically has specific clause by clause to how to deal each and every case, and because of that there was no need for the two-judge bench to frame further guidelines. The statute is already complete in itself, and further guidelines were not needed. And because of that, today Supreme Court admitted centre's review petition and set aside the judgment passed by a two-judge bench last year.
All right, because also the Supreme Court has today asked the centre and the other associated parties to involved parties rather to bring in to file the affidavits within 4 weeks, and the next hearing will be on November 14th in the abrogation of the Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir. Let us know the details of that as well.
Right, Preeti, there are a bunch of petitions before the Supreme Court. Earlier, Chief Justice of India constituted a specific constitution bench of 5 judges to deal with these cases. So far as the main prayer is concerned, the petitioner ML Sharma has challenged the constitutional validity of the of this whole exercise of abrogation of Article 370. That matter will be taken up by the bench after 4 weeks. Meanwhile, Attorney General sought 4 weeks time to file response of centre as well as state of Jammu and Kashmir. Apart from it, there are some other petitions also pending before the court, which involve some restriction on media, some restriction on movement of people in the valley, and the petitioner said that there are some other aspects as well which are pending, which are still pending because High Court is not functioning normally, and because of that they had to approach Supreme Court. So these issues or other connected issues with 370 will also be dealt by the Constitution Bench on next date of hearing. But today, Centre informed the court that there are no restrictions on media as of now. All restrictions which were imposed on media have already been lifted, and this petition doesn't need more consideration by the Supreme Court. But this will be decided by the court in the next date of hearing. So there are several issues which are connected with the abrogation of 370, and all these issues will be taken up by the bench after 4 weeks.
All right, thank you so much, Vikas, for joining us with those details. And in other news, India has once again reiterated its stand on Kashmir. Speaking to reporters in Washington, Dr. S. Jaishankar said that no mediation is needed.
My point is very simple, okay. Whose issue is it? Mine? Okay. Who has to take the call? Me? If it is my issue and I have to take the call, I will decide whether I want somebody's mediation or not. You can offer anything you like, but if I decide that this is not relevant to me, it doesn't happen. Now, I am very clear in my mind. So when people speak of, this has gone up and down, etc., where has it gone up and down? India has been very clear. I mean, India has been clear for 40 odd years that we won't accept mediation, that any, whatever has to be discussed bilaterally.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh today attended the annual day celebrations of Defence Accounts Department. The Defence Minister also gave away Raksha Mantri Excellence Awards for employees of the department, showing exemplary performance standards. Defence Accounts Department celebrates its annual day on 1st October every year to mark its rich history and commit itself to the service of Government of India and its defence forces.
और मैं आज आपको फिर इस बात का विश्वास दिलाता हूं कि हमारी सरकार भारत के विकास के रास्ते में आने वाले सभी बैरियर्स को रिमूव करने के लिए पूरी तरह से प्रतिबद्ध है। और मैं पूरे देश के कोने कोने में जहां पर भी हमारे फोर्स के जवान हैं, आर्म फोर्सेज के हमारे साइंटिस्ट हैं और डिफेंस एक्सपर्ट्स हैं, उनसे मिलने की मैं अपनी तरफ से भरपूर कोशिश कर रहा हूं। और मुझे पूरा भरोसा है कि डिफेंस अकाउंट्स डिपार्टमेंट अपनी एक्सलेंट सर्विसेज से तीनों हमारी जो सेनाएं हैं, DRDO है, हमारे एक्स सर्विसमैन वेलफेयर है, डिफेंस प्रोडक्शन, बॉर्डर रोड्स, एवं अन्य जो एंसिलरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं, उनको गति प्रदान करेगा।
In Jammu and Kashmir, one more terrorist has been neutralized in Gandarbal encounter. One terrorist was killed on September 28th, the day when the encounter started. 2 terrorists have been killed in the encounter so far. Arms and ammunition were recovered from the encounter site. Jammu and Kashmir police in a tweet informed that the operation is still underway and the identities and affiliations of the slain terrorists are being ascertained. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi will preside over the valedictory function of Arogya Manthan at Vigyan Bhavan today. Arogya Manthan is a two-day event organized by National Health Authority to mark the completion of 1 year of Ayushman Bharat program, and also a new mobile application of the Ayushman Bharat will be launched by Prime Minister at the venue. He will also launch Ayushman Bharat Startup Grand Challenge and will release a commemorative stamp on the occasion. Prime Minister will also interact with select beneficiaries of Ayushman Bharat, and he will also visit the exhibition on the Ayushman Bharat program, which will showcase the journey of the scheme over the past 1 year. The purpose of the Arogya Manthan is to provide a platform to meet for all the important stakeholders of the scheme to meet and discuss the challenges faced in implementation of the scheme in the past 1 year and to forge a new understanding and pathways to improve implementation. And Haryana Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar filed his nomination from Karnal Assembly seat today. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath was also present with him during the nomination process.
और मैं भारत की संप्रभुता और अखंडता
Up next, we'll get you updates at what's making news across the globe now. The Johnson Space Center is a premier NASA destination in Houston in the United States. It houses invaluable space aircrafts from previous missions and is also a training ground for present and future astronauts. We take a look at what the Space Center has to offer to visitors and also explore the potential of the cooperation between NASA and India's ISRO. Our team visited the NASA facility and filed this exclusive report.
For a long time, America's space program has been synonymous with the city of Houston. Johnson Space Center was founded in the year 1961. At the entrance, giant replica of Independence Shuttle welcomes the visitors. DD News is at the NASA Space Center in Houston, United States. When the man first landed on the moon, this is the station from where that historic landing was monitored. All the future manned space missions of NASA are also trained and monitored from here. For science enthusiasts and scientists, Space Center Houston is a gateway for space exploration, science and engineering learning and innovation. Amazing artifacts that trace progression of human space exploration, the Apollo 17 module, rocks from the moon, Mars exploration and more. Visitors are also taken around the space station campus. America in the next 5 to 6 years plans to make a station on the moon, land on the moon, a manned mission. What are the key learnings for you from Chandrayaan-2, the mission that India sent to the moon?
I think it's going to be important for everybody that engages in going to the moon to remember that it's going to be difficult, but I believe the payoff will be tremendous when we do succeed. And India came very, very close. So it's just a matter of finding out what the actual problem was and trying again.
There have been many milestone cooperation between Indian Space Agency ISRO and NASA. How do you see the road ahead for the two premier space agencies?
Well, I think it's inevitable that we're going to join forces and move forward together. I hope that in future programs exploring the moon and in other venues around the solar system, we're able to work together more closely to the mutual benefit of both nations.
The coming decade will witness several key spacefaring missions by both NASA and ISRO. While NASA's Artemis program will seek to land man on the moon, ISRO's ambitious Gaganyaan mission will be India's first manned flight to space. At Howdy Modi event in Houston, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and US President Donald Trump promised of a stronger bond between the United States and India. Another stronger bond and association that is to be looked out for in the 21st century is going to be the one between NASA and ISRO. With Team DD News, Shubhendu Ghosh in Houston.
In Sri Lanka, the Court of Appeal has decided to take up on Wednesday a petition against presidential candidate G. Rajapaksa on the issue of his citizenship. Two civil society activists have filed a petition seeking the court to deliver an order suspending his issuance of passport and national identity card to Rajapaksa, who is the brother of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa. The petitioners alleged that the presidential candidate has obtained a passport and NIC claiming that he revoked his US citizenship, while his brother Mahinda Rajapaksa has declined the allegations. And a political crisis in Peru has deepened after President Martin Vizcarra dissolved Congress, saying the body was blocking his anti-corruption measures. The opposition-run Congress then voted to suspend Vizcarra, naming Peru's vice president as the new leader. However, officials said that their move was void as the chamber had already been closed. Hundreds of Vizcarra's supporters gathered outside the Congress building in the capital Lima to cheer the decision, while riot police stood by. The chaotic scenes came as Peru was still reeling from the fallout of a massive corruption scandal involving the Brazilian construction firm Odebrecht. Also, Vizcarra was sworn in last year after his predecessor Pedro Pablo resigned over the allegations of corruption. And US opera singer Norman, one of the most renowned sopranos of the 20th century, has died at the age of 74. A native of Georgia, Norman was one of the rare black singers to reach fame in the opera world. She made her opera debut in Berlin in 1969 and performed across the continent, wowing audiences with a voice described as both sumptuous and shimmering. Norman sang at the presidential inaugurations of Ronald Reagan and Bill Clinton and at the 60th birthday celebrations of Queen Elizabeth in 1986. Up next is the time for Midday Prime. Up next is the time. Finance World. Nancy, it's over to you.
Thanks, Preeti. Yes, all the business news this afternoon. While the State Bank of India is set to adopt the repo rate as its external benchmark for all the floating rate loans today. And the bank had in fact said on 23rd of September that it would adopt a repo rate linked mechanism for the faster transmission of the policy rates as per the Reserve Bank of India's mandate. In a 4th September circular, the central bank, the RBI, had said it is mandatory for all the banks to link all the new floating rate personal or retail loans and floating rate loans to the MSMEs to an external benchmark that's effective today. क्या देखूं? माइक गलत बता रहे हैं।
यही है आप
वो कह रहे यही है माइक भी यही है And a look at how the Asian markets are doing. Well, the equities in the other Asian markets ticked up as some investors clung to hopes that China and the US could work towards reaching a deal on trade and other issues in the fourth quarter. Japan's Nikkei rose 0.6%, while the MSCI's broadest index of Asia Pacific shares outside Japan inched up 0.11%. The Chinese markets will be shut for a week from today to mark the 70th year since the founding of the People's Republic of China.
Who's the producer? What's the name? Company that she started.
And that's all the business news this afternoon. It's back to you.
Thank you, Nancy, for joining us with Business Prime. Up next, we're heading for a short break. Yes, up next, we're heading for a short break. Stay with us. We'll be back in a short while.
जल है तो कल है। स्वच्छ भारत अभियान का संकल्प, संरक्षित हो जल, हर घर पहुंचे नल।
जल संकट को हमने गंभीरता से लेना होगा। पानी बचाना है, हर घर को जल, इस मंत्र को लेकर के आगे बढ़ना है।
जल शक्ति समाचार सोमवार से शुक्रवार शाम 6:50 पर सिर्फ डीडी न्यूज पर।
दिन भर की सुर्खियों पर नजर, देश दुनिया की 100 बड़ी खबर सिर्फ 30 मिनट में। एक्सप्रेस न्यूज, सोमवार से शुक्रवार सुबह 9 बजे और रात 9:30 बजे, सिर्फ डीडी न्यूज पर।
महात्मा के मंत्र। खुद वो बदलाव बनिए जो आप दुनिया में देखना चाहते हैं।
Back after the break, you're watching Midday Prime, and now is the time for updates from the world of sports. Anil, let us know what's making headlines.
Thank you, Preeti. Well, first up, the test match between India and South Africa there. The Indian test team and the young look South African team are all ready for that first test of the 3-match series in Visakhapatnam. South Africa have a point to prove, while Indians would like to continue their dominance in the longer version of the game. India's last home season of this decade, Virat Kohli's men will look to extend their domination against a new look South African side trying to usher in a new dawn in the cricketing landscape. Moving on, the opening test between India and the conclusion of the Cricket World Cup. They left the tour of the West Indies unbeaten across all three formats. The Windies were swept aside with a degree of comfort on India's last test outing. In the Test series, visitors made the World Test Championship debut outing with outright wins and 120 points, notching a mammoth 318 runs and 257-run wins in the twin tests in the Caribbean islands. Shubham Gill is in contention for his Test debut after being included in the squad for the first time, with KL Rahul dropped completely. Rohit Sharma is braced for a spell at the top of the order following his white ball success. Jasprit Bumrah was called up in the original squad, but a stress fracture in his lower back has seen him replaced by Umesh Yadav, who went unused against the Windies. The Proteas are beginning life after Dale Steyn and Hashim Amla following their respective retirements from Test and International cricket respectively. Andrich Notte, Rudy Second and Senuran Muthusamy have been handed their maiden call-ups, while Faf du Plessis returns as captain after missing the T20 series. This is South Africa's first Test outing since they were shocked last February by Sri Lanka, who became the first subcontinent side to win a series in the Rainbow Nation. This is also their first match in the World Test Championship, which began in August. Sunny spells in warm conditions are expected for the first 4 days of this test, which could ensure a result is delivered. On day 5, thunderstorms are likely, which could threaten the twilight of the game. A look at the head-to-head stats clearly tilts the odd in the host's favour. The two teams have played 36 test matches, with hosts India winning 15 to Proteas notching 11 wins. 10 matches have ended in team draws. The Indian national team led by Virat Kohli is going to start as clear favourites in the game. However, South Africa has got young legs that can kick the opposition out on their day. All in all, a tough competition is on the cards, with the weighing balance clearly on the Indian side. Sports Desk, DT News. Well, the opening test between India and South Africa will be a crucial one for Mumbai batsman Rohit Sharma, who in all likelihood will play his first innings for India as a test opener. One of the team's most prolific batsmen in white ball cricket, Rohit has to make a similar impact in red ball cricket. Indian skipper Virat Kohli has backed Rohit as an opener, adding that Rohit will be given ample time to find his rhythm as an opener in test cricket.
I've given people opportunities in the past. Mayank came into the system
KL had been there for a while, Vijay was opening for a while. So there is definitely going to be, room for people to come in because of their performances. But look, we feel like because we have a test championship to look forward to, and Rohit's been in the test setup for a long time, and it's about providing him with the opportunity to really find his game and find that template that he wants to in test cricket. And we understand that if he does that, then our batting order at the top becomes even more lethal. So it's difficult to have a player like Rohit not start for you every time. But as I said, this probably is the most exciting opportunity for him and us as a team as well, that if he comes into his own, then the whole batting order looks a completely different batting order anywhere in the world.
We're staying with cricket but moving away from Test cricket to T20 cricket and women's cricket. The fourth T20 match between Indian women and South African women will be played in Surat today. The last two matches in a series of 5 T20s were abundant due to rain, without a single ball being bowled due to heavy rainfall. India lead the 5-match series 1-0. Well, on to the World Athletic Championship. Anu Rani became the first Indian to qualify for the women's javelin throw final in the World Athletic Championship with a best attempt of 62.43 meters, which is also a new national record. She finished 5th in the qualifying round of the World Athletic Championship in Doha, a place above the current world record holder, Barbara Spotakova. Anu Rani had smashed her own national record during the qualification round of World Athletic Championship earlier. On to football, Manchester United and Arsenal played out a 1-1 English Premier League draw that does little for either side's hopes of earning Champions League qualification by finishing in the top 4. Scott McTominay's first half strike put United in front on a wet Old Trafford ground, but Arsenal struck back 13 minutes into the second period through their prolific midfielder Aubameyang. The scores were level at 1-1. Well, that's all we have in sports. Back to Preeti for more updates.
Right, thank you, Anil, for joining in. And after that, we take a look at our next segment, that's Life Prime, where we bring you stories from the world of art, culture, cinema, fashion, science and innovation. Stories that will bring smiles to your faces, stories that are changing lives. Dubbed as the French Spider-Man, Alan Roberts scaled a 39-story high skyscraper without a harness in Frankfurt over the weekend. The 57-year-old is famed for climbing 165 of the world's tallest skyscrapers with his bare hands and says that his mind is the best kind of safety net for such feats. After climbing down from the 153.8 meters high Scaper Tower, the man Robert was detained by police. Robert often climbs without permission and has been arrested by more than 120 times. Robert began climbing as a schoolboy when he got locked out of his home while his parents were working. Since then, he has clambered up cliffs, mountains and landmarks, including Dubai's Burj Khalifa, the Eiffel Tower, San Francisco's Golden Gate Bridge and the New York Times building. All right, so we have a real live Spider-Man there. In other news, top gymnasts such as Simone Biles and Alia Mustafina may have new competition on the floor in the form of a robot called Atlas. The humanoid has a torso and he achieves these gymnastic maneuvers that mirror a normal athlete's prowess. He's got 3D printed parts which give it the necessary strength to weight ratio to move with agility and precision. And in this day and age, a digitally literate population is key to India's development and economic empowerment. Digital literacy is not isolated from basic literacy, which is fundamental to any form of development. On International Literacy Day this year, over 1 million children across 9 states took part in a read-a-thon organized by Room to Read. hope it bodes well for promoting a culture of reading among children. We get to you more in this report.
We are living in a time when mobiles and Kindles have more or less replaced books, even if they can store hundreds, even thousands of e-books. Room to Read is trying to preserve the magic of reading, making children fond of books again, so that they can develop a better understanding of language, improve their vocabulary and increase their confidence. Children are given books not according to their age, but according to their aptitude. There are stories and poems, pictures and words.
हम प्राथमिक कक्षाओं में काम करते हैं, प्राइमरी क्लासेस के लिए उनके रीडिंग राइटिंग के ऊपर काम करते हैं और लाइब्रेरी को हम प्रमोट करते हैं कि किस तरह से स्टोरी बुक्स को रेगुलर क्लासरूम की टीचिंग लर्निंग के साथ जोड़ा जाए.
Teachers and parents are finding this reading room activity very profitable for their children. Hopefully, the readathons will bring more and more people into the reading habit. Books have been described as our best friends. This campaign to develop the habit of reading in children is proving to be a very important initiative in their all-round development. Good News India Bureau, DD News.
All right, that's it in this edition of Midday Prime. But before we go, we leave you updated on the Bihar floods. Keep watching DD News. Bye-bye.